At some point, we all drift away from the person we want to be. We lose momentum. We let ourselves slide, maybe not all at once, but slowly, imperceptibly. And one day, we look in the mirror and think, what happened to the fire I used to have? Marcus Aurelius knew that feeling well. Despite being emperor of the most powerful empire on earth, he struggled just like we do. He wrote about it. He even scolded himself in his private journal, calling himself a beast, a monkey, lamenting how far he'd fallen from his ideals. But he also wrote something powerful. He said, "In a week, you can be a god. Not by magic, not by luck, but by returning to your beliefs, your principles, your purpose. That higher version of yourself, it's still there. You haven't lost it. You've just drifted. But you can come back." I know that feeling all too well. Every time the year winds down, there's this quiet exhaustion, like I've been running on fumes. And yet that's the perfect time to reset, to reconnect with the logos, with philosophy, with the inner compass that tells me, I can do better. I am better, Marcus said. Be your own savior, while you still can. That's not just a line. That's a challenge. And there's no better time to take it on than right now. That's why every year I return to a set of Stoic practices. Not just ideas, not just lofty thoughts, actual habits I put into motion. At Daily Stoic Habits, we call it New Year, New You, a 21-day journey to rebuild the self from the inside out, using the wisdom of the ancient Stoics to navigate the chaos of modern life. And today, I want to share 8 of those practices. 8 principles of Stoicism that can actually help you reinvent your life this year. So if you've felt stuck, if you've been coasting, if you've been waiting for the right moment to turn things around, this is it. Let's get after it. Practice number 1, rigorously train the body. Strength starts with sweat. Let's be honest, when most people hear the word philosophy, they picture an old man in a toga sipping wine under a fig tree, pondering the meaning of life. Or maybe a college professor in a tweed jacket, buried in books, detached from the real world. But that's not what Stoicism was. The Stoics were warriors, wrestlers, boxers, hunters, runners. Marcus Aurelius didn't just sit on a throne writing meditations, he led armies. Epictetus lifted weights. Cleanthes boxed. Seneca threw himself into the freezing Tiber River every New Year's Day. Socrates? He was a soldier admired for enduring brutal winters barefoot. These men didn't train their bodies out of vanity. They did it because they understood a timeless truth. The mind and the body are deeply connected. As Seneca wrote, we treat the body rigorously so that it may not be disobedient to the mind. Training the body was never just about muscles. It was about mastery, discipline, endurance. It was about building that inner voice that says, I do what I say I'll do. It's the part of you that gets up when it's cold, that pushes one more lap, that finishes the swim when your arms are begging you to quit. Just this morning I woke up early, dropped my kid at school, and went for a cold swim in Barton Springs. I didn't want to do it, my bed was warm, the water was brutal, but I did it anyway. And afterward, I felt unstoppable. That energy carried into the rest of my day. Because when you train your body to do hard things, you're not just becoming healthier, you're becoming more resilient. You're saying to life, throw it at me, I can take it. So if you're thinking about resolutions this year, don't just write down exercise more and forget it by February. Choose something that builds your mental toughness, something uncomfortable, something challenging, and then show up for it. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. Show your mind that you are the one in charge. And that brings us to something people often forget in the pursuit of strength. You don't have to do it alone. Let's talk about why asking for help might just be your most courageous move this year. Practice number 2. Ask for help. Be brave enough to reach out. Here's a tough truth. We admire others for asking for help, but we judge ourselves for needing. When a friend reaches out, when a teammate leans on us, we don't think, what a burden. We think, I'm honored to be there for them. We feel closer, we feel useful. We step up without hesitation. So why do we hold ourselves to a different standard? Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor and a soldier. He fought real battles, commanded legions, made life or death decisions, and even he knew sometimes you get knocked down. In Meditations, he wrote, "Like a soldier storming a wall, if you've been wounded and need a comrade to pull you up, so what, that last part? So what? It's powerful," it's said with a shrug, a deep, grounded, stoic kind of wisdom. He's reminding us, there's no shame in needing help. It's normal. It's human. And more than that, it's essential. You see, life is a kind of battle, and you will get tired. You will get stuck. You will face things that are too big for you to handle alone. That's not weakness, that's reality. The question is, what will you do in that moment? Will you stay silent and suffer in isolation? Or will you be brave enough to say 4 simple words? I need some help. Sometimes that help is professional, like going to therapy. Sometimes it's reaching out to a mentor or teammate. Sometimes it's texting a friend and saying, I'm struggling. Other times it's just raising your hand in a meeting and admitting, I don't know how to do this. There's a beautiful quote from The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, a book I love. It says, asking for help isn't giving up. It's refusing to give up. I think we all carry this false story in our heads that real strength means doing it all ourselves, that to admit uncertainty or pain is a form of failure. But here's what the Stoics teach us. Strength isn't isolation. Strength is connection. When you ask for help, you're not stepping back. You're stepping forward. You're taking responsibility for your growth. You're saying, I care enough about becoming better that I'm willing to lean on someone else for a moment, and guess what? You're giving others permission to do the same. You show your children what it means to be human. You show your colleagues what it means to lead with vulnerability. You show your friends what courage really looks like, not in never falling down, but in reaching out when you do. As we head into this new year, take a moment and ask yourself, who can I lean on? Who do I trust? Who's a few steps ahead of me on the path I'm walking? You don't have to carry everything alone. You weren't meant to. Reach out, ask, connect. You may be surprised by how quickly the walls you thought you had to climb solo become something you conquer together. And once you've learned to ask for help and built the courage to be vulnerable, you've already taken one of the most important steps toward transformation. But there's another habit that will shape who you become this year. It doesn't require a gym, a team, or even a mentor. It starts with a single book. Practice number 3. Be intentional with what you read. Not how much every January, it's the same story. People make bold declarations. This year I'll read 50 books. I'm going to finish 1 book a week. My Goodreads goal is 100, and sure, reading more is better than binge-watching reality TV or endlessly scrolling through social media. But let me ask you something. What's the point of reading more if none of it changes you? Epictetus once said, I'm not impressed by how much you read. I want to know, what are you reading and why? That hits hard, because we live in a world obsessed with numbers. How many steps we take, how many likes we get, how many books we finish. But Stoicism isn't about volume, it's about value. Seneca warned that too many good minds are ruined by the pointless enthusiasm for useless knowledge. He wasn't saying, don't read. In fact, Seneca was one of the most well-read philosophers of his time. But he believed reading should be like eating, not about how full you can get, but how well you nourish yourself. So let me offer you a different kind of reading challenge for this year. Don't read more. Read better. Instead of chasing page counts, chase insight. Instead of racing through bestsellers, sit with the kind of book that resists being finished in a weekend. Reread the greats. Wrestle with big ideas. Slow down. Some of the most important lessons in my life didn't come from reading 100 new books. They came from returning to the right book at the right time, and finally being ready to hear what it had to say. So before you start piling books into your Amazon cart or building a towering to-be-read list, ask yourself, what's the one idea I'm trying to grow this year? What's the one weakness I need to work on? What book will challenge, not comfort me? Reading stoically means you're not just consuming content, you're filtering it. You're choosing carefully what enters your mind just as you'd guard what enters your body. The brain, like the body, becomes what you feed it. Maybe for you, it's a year to dive deep into meditations or letters from a Stoic. Maybe it's returning to a book you once read too quickly. Maybe it's a book on self-discipline or courage or compassion, something that speaks directly to where you are now. Remember, you're not trying to impress anyone. You're trying to improve yourself. So be honest. Will this book serve you? Will it sharpen you? Will it help you live better? And just as importantly, will you let it? Reading isn't about hoarding ideas. It's about transformation. A single sentence, if truly understood, can change the course of your life. And yet we skip past dozens every day in a rush to get to the end. Let's stop reading to finish. Let's start reading to begin. And now that you've chosen what to feed your mind, let's talk about what to feed your spirit. No screens, no headphones, no noise, just you, the outdoors, and a walk. Practice number 4. Go for a walk. Move your body. Clear your mind. No one thinks a walk can change your life until it does. Think about it. When was the last time you went for a walk? Not to burn calories or get steps on your Fitbit, but just to be alone with your thoughts? Just to breathe? Just to feel the rhythm of your own footsteps? In a world wired for distraction, walking might be the most underrated habit we have. Seneca once advised, "We should take wandering outdoor walks so that the mind might be nourished and refreshed by the open air and deep breathing." He knew, long before we had names like anxiety or burnout, that the mind and body are tethered, and one can heal the other. The Stoics believed in this simple practice. They weren't just thinkers, they were walkers. Their schools of philosophy were often held outdoors. Students would walk alongside the teacher, talking, debating, breathing the same air, and stepping in unison. The walk was the classroom, and it wasn't just Stoics. The Buddha taught walking meditation. Søren Kierkegaard said, "Above all, do not lose your desire to walk. Every day, I walk myself into a state of well-being. I have walked myself into my best thoughts." I feel that deeply. There are mornings when everything feels off, when I wake up tired, uninspired, stuck in my head. But after just 20 minutes outside, everything shifts. I return home calmer, clearer, more connected to myself and the world. Walking is movement, yes, but it's also silence. It's spaciousness. It's a pause in the noise that surrounds you all day long. No notifications, no expectations, just forward motion, slow, steady grounding. And here's the truth. Most of your problems won't be solved sitting at a desk or scrolling your phone, but they might just begin to untangle themselves on a quiet walk around the block, or under a canopy of trees, or beside a body of water, even in the middle of a crowded city street, because walking is less about where and more about how. So this year, make it a habit. Put on your shoes. Leave your phone behind. Step outside and let the world in. Walk when you're angry. Walk when you're sad. Walk when you're stuck. Walk when you're happy. Just walk. Every day if you can. Because a walk is never just a walk. It's a way of saying, I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm open. It's a conversation with your soul, held one step at a time. And once you've created that space for clarity, the next step is to learn how to protect it. Let's talk about the power and the rarity of deep focus in a distracted world. Practice. Learn to focus. Concentrate like a Roman. In today's world, distractions don't knock on your door. They barge in, they scream, they flash, they buzz in your pocket, and they never, ever stop. Which is why the ability to focus, truly, focus isn't just a skill anymore. It's a superpower. Even Marcus Aurelius, writing nearly 2,000 years ago, struggled with it. In Meditations, he reminded himself again and again, you must concentrate every minute like a Roman, not like a wanderer, not like a daydreamer, like a Roman, deliberate, present, grounded. He wrote about doing each task with genuine seriousness, with justice, with humility. He wasn't just talking about war or politics. He meant the laundry, the letter, the walk with his child. Whatever was in front of him, he gave it his full attention, and that's hard. Even back then it was hard. Now, it's a war. We check our phones over 90 times a day. Our attention span is shorter than ever. Emails pile up. Notifications pull us in 100 directions. Even when we sit still, our minds keep racing. What's next? What if? What else? But here's the thing. The Stoics believed the present moment is all we ever truly have. If you can't be where you are, fully, you're not really living. Cal Newport, the author of Deep Work, calls this the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It's where breakthroughs happen, where creative energy comes alive, where purpose is sharpened and excellence is born. Seneca wrote about this too. He once described himself in a noisy apartment in the middle of Rome, chaos echoing from the streets. But instead of fleeing, he trained his mind to stay centered. All outdoors may be bedlam, he wrote, provided there is no disturbance. Within, he taught himself to hold stillness like a shield, to guard his mental space with the same devotion a soldier guards a gate. That's not a gift. That's a practice. And this year, if there's one habit you can build that will unlock everything else, it's this: the habit of deep focus. So how do you cultivate it? You start small. Turn off notifications. Put your phone in another room. Set a timer and do just one thing for 30 minutes. Then do it again tomorrow. You meditate, you journal, you breathe. You train your mind the way you would a muscle, day by day, rep by rep, and more than anything, you commit. You say, this task right here deserves my full attention. I will not betray it by being halfway in, because multitasking isn't heroic. It's hollow. It's a recipe for mediocrity. Focus is what builds mastery. Focus is how you show respect for your work, your relationships, and yourself. And you know what else? Focus is freedom. Because when you're fully present, you're not chasing, you're not comparing. You're not stuck in the past or spiraling into the future. You're right here, alive, engaged, in control. So this year, train your attention like Marcus trained his legions. Guard your mind like Seneca guarded his peace. Choose focus over frenzy, again and again, until it becomes your nature. And once you reclaim control over your attention, you'll see something clearly. Some things have too much power over you. Let's talk about that next. Practice number 6. Free yourself from addiction. Stop being a slave. You probably don't think of yourself as a slave, but take an honest look at your habits and ask, what owns you? Is it your phone, the reflex to check it every few minutes even when there's nothing new? Is it caffeine, the can't function without coffee routine that runs your mornings? Is it sugar, social media, that glass of wine every night you say you could quit anytime, but haven't? Seneca once asked, show me a man who isn't a slave. He wasn't being dramatic, he was being real. He said, this man is a slave to sex, that one to ambition, another to money, some to fear, others to hope. Slavery in the Stoic sense wasn't about chains, it was about compulsion. It was about losing freedom, because something outside you started controlling what was inside you. And that's the thing about modern addictions. They often wear friendly faces, a little convenience, a quick escape, a moment of pleasure, but slowly, they tighten their grip. And before we know it, they're running the show. The Stoics believed that the highest freedom is self-mastery, the power to say no, the strength to walk away, the clarity to see something for what it really is, not what it promises, but what it costs. So let me ask you a tough but honest question. What is one habit you know you need to break, but keep making excuses for? It doesn't have to be something society labels as destructive. Sometimes it's the things we justify that are most dangerous. Maybe it's staying up late scrolling TikTok and telling yourself you're just unwinding. Maybe it's binge eating during stress, even though it always leaves you worse. Maybe it's checking email obsessively because you want to feel in control. but it's actually controlling you. The Stoics would say, if you can't go without it, you don't have it. It has you. And that's a hard truth, because it means you've given away a piece of your autonomy, a piece of your strength, a piece of your time that could be spent on something better. So what can you do? Start by naming it. Call it out, not with shame, but with honesty. Then test yourself. Take a break. Set boundaries. Create space. Can you go a week without it? A day? Even an hour? If not, that's your signal. That's where the work begins. And don't confuse this with punishment. You're not denying yourself to suffer. You're breaking a chain, to walk free. Because the things we think are comforting us often weigh us down the most. And deep down, you already know what's holding you back. This year, decide that enough is enough. Quit being a slave. Choose your values over your vices. Choose presence over craving. Choose freedom. And once you've done that, once you've cleared out the noise, you'll find something surprising. What you create, what you finish, matters more than chasing perfection. Let's talk about why done is better than perfect. Practice number 7. Done is better than perfect. Ship the work. Start the next. Perfectionism has a strange way of disguising itself as virtue. It whispers, you just want it to be great. You have high standards. You're not ready. Just a little more time. But in reality, perfectionism is often fear wearing a nice suit. It's fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of letting go. And here's the hard truth: perfect doesn't exist. And chasing it will keep you stuck forever. Take Martha Graham, one of the greatest choreographers in history. In the winter of 1931, she was paralyzed, staring at a dance piece she'd poured months into. She hated it. Thought she'd wasted a prestigious fellowship. Convinced herself it was garbage. Meanwhile, her dancers loved it. Her peers praised it. But none of that mattered. Because in her mind, it wasn't perfect. Sound familiar? How many of us have sat on work we were too afraid to release? How many emails never sent, articles never published, business ideas never launched? Because we were waiting for what exactly? Perfect is the enemy of done. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus said, "Is it possible to be free from error? No, but it is possible to be a person who is constantly working to avoid it." In other words, don't let the pursuit of flawlessness stop you from taking action. Progress is the path. Iteration is the answer. Think about it. How can you improve if you never finish? How can you grow if you never release? How can you move forward if you never let go? There's something powerful, even sacred, about shipping the work. Not because it's perfect, but because you're ready to move on. Because you have something more important than polish: momentum. The Stoics believed in this deeply. They didn't write books for acclaim. They recorded their thoughts to sharpen themselves and share what they learned along the way. They didn't need every sentence to sparkle. They needed the truth to shine through. That's what you need too. So whether you're writing, painting, building, recording, creating, stop waiting for perfect. Finish, publish, ship, share, and then begin again. This year, replace perfectionism with discipline. Replace fear with forward motion. Replace judgment with joy, the joy of growth, of doing, of evolving. And when you feel the resistance, the tightening grip of not good enough, remind yourself, done is a win. Done is brave. Done moves you forward. And once you start living by that, once you release yourself from the prison of perfection, you're ready to choose something far more powerful than control. You're ready to choose your word for the year. Let's talk about how one word can guide everything you do. Practice number 8. Choose a word for the year. Set your North Star. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And most of those roads, they lead nowhere. Seneca said it best. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. That's why I believe one of the most powerful Stoic practices you can do especially at the beginning of the year, is to choose a single word, just one word, a word to live by, a word to aim toward when everything around you feels loud, messy, or uncertain. A word that reminds you of who you are, how you want to live, and why you're doing any of this at all. Think of it like a compass, a guiding principle, a North Star for your actions, decisions, and mindset this year. In yoga, practitioners set an intention at the start of each class. In meditation, a mantra helps focus the mind. For the Stoics, these were called epithets for the self, short, powerful words that captured the essence of character. Marcus Aurelius chose words like upright, modest, cooperative, sane. Not flashy, not motivational poster fluff. Just grounded daily reminders of the kind of person he wanted to be. For me, each year I choose a word and let it shape how I approach everything, from family to work to challenges. One year I picked stillness. I was overwhelmed, reactive, rushing. That word brought me back to center again and again. Another year, I picked less. I was overcommitted, distracted, chasing too much. That word helped me cut the noise, clear the clutter, and focus on what mattered. Last year, my word was systems, because I didn't want to keep solving the same problems from scratch. I wanted to build structure, to make my life less reactive and more intentional. And this year, I'm still refining it. I'm sitting with it, letting it emerge, because the right word will resonate deep down. It won't just sound good, it will feel right. So how do you choose your word? Start by reflecting. What did you struggle with last year? What do you want more of in your life? What part of you needs strengthening, refining, nurturing? Then brainstorm. Try words like discipline, if you need structure and self-leadership. Patience, if you tend to rush or force outcomes. Courage, if fear has kept you playing small. Presence, if your mind is always somewhere else. Resilience, focus, grace, clarity, still, bold. The key? Pick a word that challenges you, not one that just sounds nice. It should stretch you, guide you, even confront you. Once you have your word, live with it. Write it on a sticky note. Make it your phone wallpaper. Start your journal entries with it. Repeat it before big decisions. Let it shape your tone, your choices, your mindset. And most importantly, when the chaos hits, because it will, come back to your word. Let it remind you, this is the kind of person I want to be. Not perfect, but intentional, not flawless, but focused. This isn't about having all the answers. It's about having a clear direction. So when the winds of the world push you off course, you know exactly how to return, one word, one anchor, one North Star, and now that you have your word and the clarity that comes with it, there's only one thing left to do. Stop waiting. Stop stalling. Stop telling yourself tomorrow. You've made it this far. You've reflected. You've reset. You've thought deeply about who you want to become and how to get there. Now comes the most important part. Do not wait, because waiting is where momentum dies. It's where dreams go to sleep. It's where someday becomes never. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could be good now. Instead, you choose tomorrow." Sound familiar? We all do it. We say we'll start when we have more time, when the kids are older, when work calms down, when we feel ready, when it's Monday, when the weather's better, when the timing is just right. But here's what the Stoics knew. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. Every delay is a lie we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. Every excuse is a little brick in the wall between who we are and who we're meant to be. Seneca called procrastination the one thing all fools have in common. Because while they plan, while they prepare, while they hesitate, life moves on. The Stoic path isn't about waiting. It's about stepping forward, even when it's hard, even when you're unsure, especially when it's uncomfortable. Whatever habit you're trying to build, start it today. Whatever vice you're trying to quit, put it down today. Whatever truth you've been avoiding, face it today. Because the best time to begin was last year. The second best time is now. I've come to realize that everything good in my life, every breakthrough, every success, every moment of peace, is the result of something I started a long time ago. A choice I made when I didn't feel ready. A small habit I stuck with. A promise I kept to myself. This year is no different. If you want to look back 12 months from now with pride, this is the moment that decides that. The action you take today becomes the foundation you stand on tomorrow. So don't just nod along, don't just save this video. Don't just think, that was inspiring. Do something, pick one practice, just one, and begin it, right now. Even if it's small. Especially if it's small. Because that's where everything starts. And if you need a reminder along the way, come back to your word. Come back to this message. Come back to the ancient wisdom that has guided warriors, emperors, and philosophers for centuries. You don't need more time. You need more courage. You don't need perfection. You need commitment. You don't need a new year. You need a decision. So go. Begin. This is the year you reinvent your life. One Stoic habit at a time. And if this message spoke to you, if you found value in these timeless principles, please like this video, subscribe to Daily Stoic Habits, share it with someone who needs to hear this, because wisdom grows when it's shared, and you never know who's one Stoic habit away from changing their life. So go, begin. This is the year you reinvent your life, one Stoic habit at a time.